all of the sports are happening at once. It's a sports equinox, and we're throwing horse racing into the mix. There's the World Series, there's NFL, college football, hockey, NBA, and now the surf is meeting the turf at Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup World Championships, where we have one of the most anticipated classics I can ever remember, one of the most anticipated races of my lifetime. And we've got some breaking news in that front as well. And joining us today, it's Peter Thomas Fornatale, PTF. He looms boldly. He's on the In the Money Media Network, and he's covering the Breeders' Cup out at Del Mar, doing a lot of work for a lot of different places. I saw you on the Breeders' Cup channel. I'm like watching Works, and I'm like, hey, it's PTF. I know that guy. So we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us.
Well, it's my great pleasure. Always good to get to appear with you and KSR and the viewers. And it's crazy. I mean, you alluded to it before, but this was like knock me over with a feather stuff hearing this news. He's not out of the race yet, but Sovereignty apparently popping a little bit of a temperature. Boy, in my experience around the game, I mean, the old saying used to be, they walk a week in the shed row for every day with a fever. So I guess the hope is that it was a broken thermometer or something. They're doing all manner of tests and hoping. The good news is nothing else was off. He was apparently eating, which if they're genuinely sick, they typically will not want to do. I think the first blood counts they looked at, like things. It's not, again, he's not definitely out, but it's very scary prospect that we will lose him just because, like you said, this was looking like the race of the century.
Yeah.
And there's no two ways about it. It's still a great race, but it loses a lot of its luster without the big horse Sovereignty. If, in fact, that is the way it goes, we'll know sooner rather than later, we hope.
The part that sucks the most is that Sovereignty is going to be this sport's greatest what if story.
Yeah.
Because
now potentially.
Yeah, because could have had a triple crown, and then the Breeders' Cup Classic would have served as not his redemption, but also if you are the horse that we thought you were, not only would you beat journalism again, but also these awesome 4-year-olds. Which, I mean, even let's just say, for argument's sake, we don't know for sure, but let's say Sovereignty's out. I think even if Sovereignty was in it, there's still 6 or 7 horses in this classic field that you have to take a second look at and say, well, they could win it. I want to start by asking you about the horses I always ask you about, the Japanese horses, because Forever Young, I was with you on him last year, and he's been good ever since. And it's like they've been good in the Breeders' Cup, and we talking about all these other horses. What if Forever Young just went in and spoiled this whole thing and won the Classic?
Oh, I could absolutely see it. In fact, the spoiler alert, even with Sovereignty in the race, in the write-ups I did for my friends over at theraces.com, he's the horse I put on top at the prices. You know, that's an English audience, so I'm able to cherry pick odds at the time over there. How civilized of a concept. And at 8-1, that was just too big for me. I think if he runs back to his race in the Saudi Cup, you know, I don't have an exact speed figure on that, but I mean, it's within a couple of points, I think, of what Sovereignty ran in the Travers. He was a little bit flat the following race. I think he was justified in that. I mean, there was a lot of travel. He's now laid out to run a huge race. He came back looking fully formed in his prep. He runs comparable figures. He's run huge races all over the world. He has some trip excuses in his 2 North American starts. His 2 North American starts were good, but I think he's probably better than those based on what we've seen from his best form. He is an absolutely serious contender in this spot.
So Fierceness draws the rail, Mike Rapoli's horse that is, you know, outstanding in the Travers last year, but didn't really show anything in the Met Mile. But that was a weird Met Mile because of the Saratoga layout. But the last we saw him, he beat journalism pretty soundly in the Pacific Classic. Are the 4-year-olds does it feel like it's got to be one of them in this race? Based on what we've seen recently, too, in some of the other races between the two?
In a non-Sovereignty world, I wouldn't say it's got to be one of the 4-year-olds, just because I still think Baeza and journalism are extraordinary 3-year-olds. Part of the reason why we're so excited about Sovereignty isn't just his breaking the clock in the Travers. It's about the form of these races. I mean, these are legit grade 1 3-year-olds who have been a little bit overshadowed by the brilliance of Sovereignty. But you do not want to rule this out, because late season 3-year-olds have a way of improving their time figures. I mean, think about it. These are like athletes going from, I don't know the exact analogy, but like 19 to 21. You know, it's like it's the equivalent potentially of years of a human athlete's development in a couple months. If Baeza continues to develop, if journalism continues to develop, they could absolutely beat these 4-year-olds. Having said that, the 4-year-olds in a non-sovereignty world are going to take up a huge chunk of this market. The fierceness draw, not what they would have picked. I'm not sure that it matters. I think he'll be able to break running from there. And then hopefully, I would imagine they want to flop outside the Rabbit. They could end up in exactly the right spot. Funny enough, the Rabbit, I could make you an argument the way this Del Mar track plays sometimes, if it's like that, if it's like where it's not playing great down on the inside, the Rabbit could help fierceness from this draw, because it could be just a very easy chance. Clear him, get second, flop outside, and then if it's a dead inside, it won't matter at all. Whereas if he was going hammer and tongs from the rail and staying down there, that could hurt him. You know, I'm speculating here. It's not always a bad rail at Del Mar on the dirt, but often it is. So he's got a huge chance. And then obviously Sierra Leone, there's a little bit of a Rodney Dangerfield get no respect about this horse, right? He wins the race last year. I think somebody could tell you, you could make a compelling case he should be at least co-favorite in this race, and he's not getting that kind of respect in the market. 4-year-olds have a huge chance, but it's not like they have it locked up.
Can I've become a journalism fan because of the way that he's not your traditional great horse, but it's like he just finds a way to win, right? Like, I think that's very relatable, especially to like Joe Infielder, who's just like a railbird who just wants to see the little guy win one. Journalism kind of feels like that horse for me, but I worry about just the skill that the talent that he has to go up against for some of his best stuff. It was beating horses that probably aren't up to his snuff. However, I say all that to mention one other 3-year-old that I think might be like a live crazy price horse. Mindframe. Mindframe ran on Derby Day in that awesome Churchill Downs Stakes, won by a neck, and then goes out, wins the Stephen Foster, but in the final tune-up, tosses his rider, and so you don't have anything on him. So I don't know. Am I crazy here? I think I saw like 20-something to 1. I mean, that doesn't
be that kind of price. No, Mindframe should not be that kind of price. He is in a normal year, as in a not completely loaded. I mean, this is the kind of horse with this form and figures could contend for favoritism. I mean, that Churchill Downs race he won was so salty on paper, and he ran a big number there. He comes back and runs another big number. Yeah, he's an X factor. He's an X factor. And to get back to journalism for a second in the 3-year-old discussion, Sovereignty is the best 3-year-old. Baeza might still have the most. He still has a pretty big ceiling. Journalism is my favorite. You nailed it.
Yeah.
If he was a human being, he'd have the biggest endorsement deals, right? He dances. Right. He dances every dance. Comparatively, dances every dance. Being in all 3 Triple Crown races, he has had these improbable wins in the Preakness and then again in the Haskell. He's just so likable, and you can spin a yarn based on that point I was making before about 3-year-olds when they. When they've been away from the races for a little bit. He's been training up since late summer. He could be a whole new. He could have a whole new dimension. So I wouldn't rule out either of those horses. I mean, you put my feet to the fire. I'll be honest. I still do not, as of Tuesday afternoon, as we're recording this, know exactly how I'm going to bet this race. But in terms of my horizontal bets, my pick bets. I'm going to be spread, and those numbers are going to be on tickets because I think Mindframe goes with an outside chance that, and I think he'll be a very good price. I mean, 20 to 1's crazy, but even if he's 10-12 in a Sovereignty world, that'd be a good price on him.
Yeah.
In journalism also, I just think there's a chance he could get a little bit forgotten. As terrific as Sovereignty is, I have a lot of trouble. It's all changed now, but you see 6-5 on David Aragona's morning line. If you're looking at the graphic on YouTube there, I can't make that my top pick with so many other appealing options. Having said that, in a sovereignty world, he's on every horizontal ticket too, and he's pressed up because he's just that good. My betting idea here would be Forever Young. I think Forever Young. If you made me pick one horse to bet, I would say Forever Young. If you make me play USA style exotics, it's a spread. It's not a strong race for me horizontally, but it's a Breeders' Cup Classic, and I'm way too sick. I'm going to be playing
it. If nothing else, if Sovereignty is able to return, which would be incredible, it's not looking good as of right now. Not looking good at all. But if nothing else, some of that win pool money is going to be spread around elsewhere.
Yeah, you can. The rough way of doing it would be to look at half. He's going to basically be. If you were looking at 12 before, it's going to probably be 7. That things like that. And whatever price you want on your horse is going to be going way down if he is not able to compete. Not a certainty yet, but it looks like the way the wind is blowing. But it's still going to be. From a sporting point of view, even without Sovereignty, it's still one of the best Breeders' Cup Classics I've ever seen. That's how good of a race this is. Yeah. With Sovereignty, that's when I want to get confident and call it the race of the century.
I know. And I want to see that. I want to see him so bad against the 4-year-old. So fingers crossed that we can get it. Post time for that race is at 6:25 Eastern time. It's on NBC. They're going from 3:30 to 7 on the big stick. But Peacock all weekend long. There's a bunch of other different channels too. They kind of spread it around. I think it'd be especially fun because unlike Derby Day or any of those other big Triple Crown days, when you're at a Del Mar, there's like 4 more $1 million races after the Classic. So one of them I wanted to talk about is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I love a Dirt Mile race. I don't know what it is because you can get some of the horses turning back from the Classic distance or trying to stretch out from sprints. Like in this race, we've got White Barrio, which I believe he was in the Classic a year ago, if I'm not mistaken.
He won it 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So now, granted, I'm not a fan of White Barrio. I think part of the reason why is because he beat me in that Classic a couple of years ago. But I'm just fascinated how this horse will fare at a mile and also not away from Gulfstream. He feels like a horses for courses, and can you actually bet him anywhere but Gulfstream?
Yeah, I on occasion, yes, but not right now. He is a very cool horse. His best races are so good and would win this race, but he's just so hit or miss. And I feel like for a horse that's won the Classic, if he was really doing well, isn't that where he'd go? I don't know. He's at least like a 10-1 shot to me in a spot like this. I haven't looked at the morning line yet. I haven't fully studied this one yet. But on my gut, he's going to have a hell of a time dealing with a horse like Nisos.
Well, and that's what's crazy is this race features a Breeders' Cup Classic champion, a Kentucky Derby champion in Mystic Dan, and the defending champion in Full Serrano, and neither of them are going to be the favorite.
Yeah, it is. That's what happens when you get a horse as talented as Nisos rerouting to a place like this. He has a lot of the prototypical Baffert superstar elements: brilliant speed, good early speed, grindy. He keeps coming at you. He keeps going. There's a lot of questions about his preparations for this season. But so this is one where he's a horse that could have gone in the Classic potentially in another year, ends up here. But I think it's more logical with him because of the interrupted preparations. And, we're going to have a lot more information on the In the Money Media Network. We've got our Final Answer show going to be going up on YouTube. We're going to have even more special reports from the grounds and figure information as part of our In the Money Plus service, inthemoneypodcast.com/plus, with grid picks from all the team. Well worth the price to become an In the Money Plus member. So that's my sort of the last question about Nisos is, how has he looked in person this week? How have these last bits of preparations been? The vibes I'm hearing, it's all very positive. If I'll get that confirmed in the next couple of days. And he might be a place even though there's other good horses in here, I might just hang my hat on him in the draw.
Single away. I wouldn't be surprised. And I know a lot of people around here are Mystic Dan fans, but similar to White Barrio, that's a horse you can't bet on outside of Churchill Downs. That's the only place he's ever won in his career, since the Derby, I should say, because he did win it. Or hell no, he even didn't win in Arkansas. So I mean, like he
1 for 11, 1 for 11 outside of Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
And then the bigger issue for me than that, though, with him is I think he's a really good grade 2 horse.
Yes.
You know? And Nisos looks like a proper grade 1 horse, and that's going to make it hard for him. He'd be a great story. I mean, he's been a thorn in my side. I did not have him in the Derby. He's beaten me other times, but he's one of these horses. You know, sometimes you get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder about horses that beat you out of things. I still like Mystic Dan. He's and what a great training job by Kenny McPeak. I mean, this course looked like the one-hit wonder of all one-hit wonders. He was looking like a strawberry alarm clock of horses, incense and peppermints before your time. It's okay. Some of the older people listening and watching know what I'm talking about. But he's shown that he's not a one-hit wonder. He's a legitimately good grade 2 kind of horse.
Right.
Is something. And they can never take that grade 1 Kentucky Derby away from him. I just don't think it was the strongest Derby. That's all. A year like this with these top 3-year-olds we've been talking about, I think he'd have struggled to have been 4th. But, you know, hey, he was born the year he was born, and he took full advantage.
Exactly. So that is one that's later at night. There are 8 Breeders' Cup races on Saturday and 5 on Friday, or
5 Friday, 9 Saturday.
Okay, yeah. Bad math on my part. Good luck on Friday. Betting on Future Stars Fridays on the juveniles is tough. Always tough. It's a small field in this year's juvenile. Make sure you all are following them at In the Money Media for some of their picks. I'm not going to even try to give you any because it is kind of a crapshoot on that Friday. But there's one other race that you wanted to get to that is actually before the Classic on Saturday, the Breeders' Cup Turf, a 1.5-mile marathon with a lot of – this is where we get the European flavor in. And, boy, this feels like one of those that always comes down to the last final gallops.
It's an exciting race, 1.5 miles on the turf. It's great. It's like there's an Olympic level of international competition here and in the Filly and Mare Turf. I think in the Filly and Mare Turf, by my math, the runners in there made their last starts in 7 different countries. Not too bad. Not quite as crazy in the turf, but not far behind. This is a horse I'm going to bet, so I wanted to make sure we talked about this. Rebels Romance. He will not be the favorite, even though he's won this race 2 other times. He's bidding to make Breeders' Cup history by becoming a 3-time winner in here. Minnie Hawk, who is an unbelievably talented 3-year-old filly, and goes with a huge chance, but I just think there's going to be a little bit too much between them. She comes out of Europe's most prestigious turf race, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. So my part of the handicap here is that was really her race target. They had always mentioned maybe going on to the Breeders' Cup, so it's not like it's an afterthought, but she's had her peak effort. We know Rebels Romance is sitting on his peak effort. We know how he runs around these firm, left-handed, tight 2-turn, 3-turn turf races. I love the rail draw for him. I think he'll break running. I think he's going to take a lot of beating, and he will not be the favorite. He's not going to be some kind of huge price, but I love the idea of making some plays that involve him and that use Minnie Hawk, who's the 8 runner in here. And then the other one who's super interesting is the 3 runner Amalok. He'll be another one I'll have an exactas with those other 2. This is one of my strongest opinions of the 2 days. So I just wanted to make sure we talked about it. You can mess around. I'm going to bet the 1 to win, but there'll definitely be plenty of 1, 3, 8 in various exacta and trifecta combinations as well.
As the kids would say less. I'm all in. You've convinced me. That's PTF, Peter Thomas Fornatale. You got stuff all over the place, but I know the official Breeders' Cup feed, also In the Money Media on YouTube. The podcast you can just listen to as well. And I always like it because you all do a wide variety. So like, all right, I need 10 minutes. Just hit me with 10 minutes or give me the hour-long final answers. Whatever it may be, you guys got us covered.
Whatever you want, we got you. the key things are In the Money Media YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. In the Money Players podcast, wherever you get your pods. You can look at the lengths of the shows and you can know what you can sort of do a self-guided tour at that point. If you just want the dope, if you just want grid picks from me and the team with some wagering strategies, just go to the In the Money Plus side. Now, you don't need to pay to get all our best stuff. It is out there for free. But if you want it all in one place, easily organized with some extra backup information as well, and if you like to support the free content that we do, that's when I send people to In the Money Plus, inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. We'd love to have you over there. And then we have special things like our Inner Circle tier where we do bet shares and things like that. By the time people are watching and listening to this, it's probably a little late for that for this year, but it's just another reason to hopefully get involved on the In the Money Plus side and become a part of our team and support what we do. I love I love interacting with the listeners and the viewers. It's so fun, whether it's seeing them in the wild at a place like Del Mar or answering handicapping questions. Please feel free to reach out. Best way to get to me personally. We have a website too. I didn't even mention inthemoneypodcast.com. Loads of free analysis on there as well. If you're a racing fan, have that one bookmarked. But there's a contact button on inthemoneypodcast.com. That goes to my personal email, and I'm happy to help you along on your handicapping journey.
Oh, man, it's going to be great. And you're going to be at a speakeasy during the races on Saturday?
We did that already. We did.
Oh, okay.
We did you could check this out. This will be on Breeders' Cup socials. We did our analysis of Future Stars Friday from a speakeasy in a corn maze in Carlsbad. And it was a haunted speakeasy too.
Oh, so wow!
We might have had some supernatural pointing in directions.
See, that's what you need for Future Stars Friday. You need some sort of extra supernatural light to guide you to winners. So hopefully you've got plenty to share this weekend out at Del Mar. PTF, appreciate you joining us as always, and have some fun out at Del Mar. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
It's not hard to have fun at Del Mar. We've got all the things that make going to sporting events fun out here, and we're going to enjoy it. Hopefully we'll get to see you next year at the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, a little bit closer to home.
Yeah, a little bit easier track.
We might have to do an In the Money KSR event.
There we go.
The production meeting in the middle of the show. We'll see if we can do something fun. We know some people who own some bars, so we might be able to pull them off, get a chance to do it in person. Thank you so much, my brother. Always a pleasure, Nick.
It's been great, Pete. We'll see you.